Yes, limited resources and staffing, that's a huge issue for state and local government, and trying to keep things innovative with those limited resources is a challenge. In my opinion, the whole advent of low-code and no-code programming has really revolutionized and opened the door to greater innovations there. It's easier to find developers that are skilled in low-code and no-code. It's faster to train them, and generally speaking, it's lower priced than what we've traditionally thought of as really high-paid, hard-to-find specialty programmers. Interagency data exchange, not one of government's greatest strengths, but you need it, particularly now. We see a lot of law enforcement community who is forced. Criminals don't stick to a jurisdiction. They don't stick to a certain type of crime. They go everywhere. And so it's required to be able to stay ahead of the bad guys, to share data, to be able to use it in a very digestible, very actionable manner. And once you do, you want to make sure that the data, the evidence around that particular action is not compromised, and it stays secure all the way through the police and the court process, so that there's no debate about whether this data was accurate. Oh wait, you're saying state and local governments are still using legacy technology? That's sarcasm. Yes, they're all using legacy technology. I heard of a story earlier today that somebody had a 24-year-old system that he just walked into. I bet they didn't tell him that during the interview, but I didn't ask him. Yes, legacy technology is so burdensome. Not only is it barely working, right? It's typically poorly documented. Not only are the programmers who know it and operate it are desperately to get out the door and retire. They don't want to do this anymore. But how do you get out of it? Well, the best way I've seen is for state and local governments to retire those old systems, and they can retire. The reason they don't is because they need the data. Some of that data is active, some of it might be needed for a legal reason. You can archive that data and still have it very accessible, very secure, and non-impacted, and then keep that in an archive, and then modernize and use your current systems in something, maybe a low code or something that much more modern and much more free-flowing, and something that's updatable, and get rid of that O&M nightmare that's known as legacy applications. In my opinion, AI and automation are the biggest thing to hit really all levels of government, to be honest. And that's because a lot of the work done by local, state governments is transactional. Renewing a driver's license, for example. If you're a low-risk, regular Joe and Jane going into the DMV to get your driver's license renewed, that can be done, generally speaking, by AI and automation. Maybe not today, but soon. And you're going to need your human case managers to be doing those edge cases, the very complicated ones, the very complex ones that are not geared toward automation and AI. Now, we look at AI as really three stages. Some agencies are in the crawl stage. They're just not really ready for AI because maybe they have paper documents. Maybe they have siloed information that's really disconnected. And so we help them get past that crawl stage by scanning in those documents into a workflow, or by combining those different information silos. Other agencies are a little further along. We call those the crawl agencies, and maybe they have everything digitized, and maybe everything is tagged and able to be labeled and identified. Well, now we're building analytics and be able to enterprise search and find trends and find insights from all of that enterprise-wide data, whether it's coming from SAP or Salesforce or Microsoft or OpenText, bringing it all together under one and give your leadership the ability to really learn from that. And then there are some agencies that are really kind of at the run stage of AI, and they're doing all that, and they're now really into that LLM stage where they can create content out of their secure enterprise environment. They can use interactive chatbots with the public confidently. and be able to communicate with them and make that a really closely, fully automated. Generally, you want to keep your human in the loop to make sure there's some checks and balances, but this is the future. A lot of the transactional work is going to be automated, AI is going to handle it, and those edge cases, the complex cases, are where the human leaders are going to have to step in and handle those things manually. OpenText is a big fan of public sector network and these state and local government conferences. And we're just really pleased to be in Ohio today. And we've been in Virginia, and we've been in Georgia and Tennessee and many other places, and others to come soon. We think this is a wonderful way to help educate the local and state government officials about what OpenText brings to the table, what we're doing currently with state and local, what we're planning in our roadmap of technology to help bring to state and local in the future. And it's a wonderful place to really learn more about what the problems that are facing the state of Ohio, the cities and counties nearby, and where OpenText is having success elsewhere in America, and we might be able to bring those ideas to the table. Maybe there's a nice match. We love the public sector network, Ohio Innovation, because it is an intimate setting. It's sizable. There's a large audience in the group, but it gives you an ability to have some one-on-one conversations and really get beyond the handshake and a piece of swag and get into a little more substance about what they're wrestling with or what their plans are for modernization and innovation. And we'll, on the other hand, we'll tell them about where we've had success with OpenText in other government settings. And it's a great place to be, and we're really happy to be here.